Hey everyone, this is Amy, Old Book, New Look. Today is Tuesday, January 31st, 2012. This is my second video of the day. I made an update video earlier, and right now I just wanted to come back on and answer a question that had been asked of me a while back. I had planned on doing a Q&A video, like one big Q&A video where I answer questions that had been asked of me. But then after trying to do that a couple times, I realized that wasn't going to work out because I just couldn't make one video with all those questions in it because it ended up being way too long. So today I wanted to answer a question that someone had asked me. The question is, now that you are fit, do you find it easier to breathe when you are exercising? I hear all the time instructors telling people to control their breathing by inhaling through their nose and exhaling through their mouths. What do you do? The answer is yes. I definitely have seen a huge improvement in my breathing over time. I mean, when I first started really working out and really trying to push myself, I started trying to run. And at the time, I couldn't run more than like 30 seconds without feeling like I was going to die. And part of that was my lungs were just so out of shape. And I'd be huffing and puffing. I'd be like, you know? Oh. And also, in the beginning of my journey, because I was so obese and worried about the impact on my knees, I did a lot of swimming. And swimming, I think, is even more of an exercise for your lungs than it is for any other part of your body. And I remember having a really hard time breathing while I was swimming, trying to do laps. I haven't swam in a while just because there got a point where I dropped so much weight that I shrunk out of my bathing suits. All my bathing suits were way too big, and I just didn't want to spend the money on new bathing suits knowing that I was going to have to buy another one in another month or so, because I would shrink out of those sizes quickly too. So that's something I want to get back into. But anyway, so yeah, I definitely have seen a huge difference in my breathing. And I also, kind of tying into that, I had made a video, I think before November, before Thanksgiving. It was my 3-month post-op around that time of that doctor's appointment that I was having trouble while I was running having trouble with my breathing. And basically what was happening was I'd be fine because I have asthma. I would be fine on the treadmill while I was on the treadmill. At the time I was working on getting my mile under 12 minutes. And I'd be fine while I was working, running and everything. But then once I stopped running and slowed down and started walking and started cooling down, I all of a sudden would get wicked congested in my head, my nose and my throat and in my chest. And I'd start coughing, and then I'd launch into like a mild asthma attack and have to take my inhaler. And it was really bothering me because when I went to my 3-month post-op appointment and told my nutritionist about this, she told me that I had to be careful about how much I took my inhaler because it could possibly cause ulcers in my stomach. So I was really, really worried about that because I'm like, what am I going to do? So I ended up talking to several people about it. I talked to my PCP. I talked to my a nurse practitioner who works for Chest Medicine Associates, which is where I go to get where I went because I don't have it anymore, sleep apnea, where I went to get my CPAP machine adjusted, the pressure adjusted on it, and they also specialize in treating people with asthma, so I talked to her about that. I talked to a pharmacist about it and asked him questions. I did my own research online. I asked questions in forums. I looked in medical resource books and in a library. I did a lot of research on my own and from asking other professionals, no one was able to tell me, no one was able to find any evidence that albuterol would possibly cause stomach ulcers. So I think, unfortunately, the nutritionist was misinformed or confused. So that just goes to show you that you need to do your own research and ask your own questions. Don't just take things as they are from everyone. Anyway, they all said, like my PCP explained to me, that albuterol is a bronchodilator. It's not a steroid. So it just works to open up your bronchial tubes, and it lasts for about I can't remember, she said 2 or 4 hours. So she told me that I was fine to go ahead and take a puff of my albuterol before I started working out, and I wouldn't have any trouble with my asthma. And now the thing is that I'm also prescribed Advair. Now Advair is a steroid, and if somehow some of that steroid got down into my pouch, then and that happened often, then there is a possibility that it could cause ulcers. It could be a stomach irritant. But my PCP explained to me that, the chances of enough getting down there to really cause ulcers is really, really slim, because it's going into my lungs, I'm inhaling it, and then afterwards I'm rinsing my mouth out, gargling, brushing my teeth. So none of it should get or a very, very infinitesimal amount would get down into my pouch. So, I mean, she said that she didn't think, for the amount that I was taking it, that she didn't think that the Advair would give me problems. But if I still didn't feel comfortable with the possibility, then I'd be fine with just taking the albuterol, which is the non-steroidal one, like I just explained, and just taking that one puff before I exercise. So that's what I ended up doing. And I had to do that for a couple weeks. I would take one puff before I started exercising and have no problems with my asthma. And then after about a couple weeks, I forgot to take it one time, and before I got on the treadmill, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to take it afterward, after I start having trouble. But I ended up not having any trouble. So my lungs had gotten stronger to the point that I wasn't launching into an asthma attack after running on the treadmill for a half hour. And now I don't need it at all. So it just goes to show you that my lungs have gotten stronger, which is awesome. In answering the second part of this question, I don't know what. Here's the thing. I'll tell you what I do, but I don't know if what I do is the right thing to do. So just keep that in mind. I'm a complete novice at running. I really don't know how you're supposed to breathe while you're running. I just do what comes naturally to me. And I don't really think about it too much. So maybe that's something that I need to look into more and learn more about. But for right now, it's working for me. I don't know. So like I said, I just do what comes naturally. And at first, like I said, when I was first starting to run, obviously I was huffing and puffing, and it was not natural, I don't know. I don't think that I would want to breathe through my nose, in through my nose and out through my mouth while I'm running. Yeah. I don't know if that would work so well. I don't know if people do that. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm not giving a good answer, but I guess my answer would be to go check, look that up, I guess. But anyway, for dancing, I mean, I danced like for 16 years. I grew up dancing. I started dancing when I was 2, and I stopped when I graduated high school, and went to college. And with dancing, I, again, do what comes naturally. I mean, with dancing, there's a lot of things like with music that the way you breathe can really have an effect on your expression and things, and how far you can extend your movement and things. So I don't do it one specific way. It depends on. I'm sorry. This isn't. I'm not doing a good job at answering a question because I don't have one specific way that I breathe all the time. I mean, sometimes in Zumba, when we're doing like really, really high intensity reps of things and I need to calm myself down, yeah, I'll breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth and kind of make it more even, sure. But it's not something that I really put a lot of thought into. I don't know, maybe I should. Like I said, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm really sorry. Um, so anyway, but yeah, I definitely have seen huge, huge differences in how my lungs have gotten stronger. So if you're struggling with your breathing while you're exercising, I definitely would say hang in there. If you have asthma, then you need to do something about medication wise. But if you don't, and you're struggling with your breathing while you're exercising, hang in there. It will get better. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to answer that question, and I hope that answers it somewhat. But anyway, you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.